In this video we're going to have a look at finding the equation of a line, and we're going to be finding the equation given 2 points, and we're also going to find the equation given a graph, given the graph. So if we're given 2 points, let's say -3 and 8 and 5 and -2. First thing that we want to look for is the gradient. And the gradient, if we remember, is rise over run. Or the formula we can actually say as y2 take y1 over x2 take x1. Because there's two ways we can find the gradient of a straight line. And essentially they're the same. So what we need to do, if we're given 2 points, -3, 8, 5 and -2, we need to indicate which one's our x and which one's our y. The x is always the first coordinate, so in this case -3 and 5. So I'm just going to label it in a different colour, x, but I'm actually going to say x1 as my first point and x2 as my second. Now it doesn't really matter which way you put them, as long as you're consistent then with y's. So if I move on to the y's, y is always the second coordinate, so 8, I'm going to call that y1 and y2. Alright, so that's my first step. When I use this formula to find the gradient, y2, okay, I say is -2. Okay, y2 is -2. Then I'm subtracting y1, so in this case it's 8. So I say -2 take 8 on the top, y2 I say is 5, and x1 is -3. So I'm subtracting -3. Now make sure you include the subtracting -3, okay, because this is a negative number. On the top, -2 take 8 is -10. 5 take -3. Remember, 2 negatives make a positive. So it would be 5 plus 3. So it would be +8. Now you could leave it as -10 on 8, but we always want to simplify our fractions when possible. So this actually becomes -5 on 4. Okay, that's your first step, is finding the gradient. Now remember, we had to graph any kind of equation, we need gradient and the intercept. Okay, we want our y equals mx plus c. We've just found what m is, now we need to work out what c is. So my next step, I'm going to put up here the y-intercept. Okay, we're actually going to use one of the points given. Okay, and I'm going to say, let's use the first one, -3 and 8. It doesn't really matter which one you use, it's going to get you the same answer. Alright, so to find the y-intercept, pick one of the points. Always state your equation you're working with, mx plus c. Now, I've just worked out what m is. M was -5 on 4. So replace it with -5 on 4. Okay, we don't know what y is and we don't know what c is. Alright, and we've also got x in there. So I've just replaced the m. The next step is to use the point that you state at the start. So if I've got -3 and 8, saying x is going to replace with -3 and y is going to be replaced with 8. So when I see a y, I replace it with an 8. When I see x, I replace it with -3. Alright, I like to use brackets when you're working with negatives. Okay, essentially what we've got is -5 on 4 times 3. 2 negatives, -5 and -3, become a positive. 5 and 3 make 15. So I've got 15 quarters plus c. And now if I subtract this, from both sides. Okay, that cancels out. 8 minus 15 on 4. Alright, we're working with some fractions. Okay, I'm going to put the 8 over 1 because I need to make the denominators the same. So if I multiply the bottom by 4, I can multiply the top by 4. 8 times 4 is 32. Alright, on the bottom I've got a 4. 15 over 4. 32 take 15. We get 17 on 4. So we've got C as 17 on 4. And then our final step is to state what our equation is. So y equals m, so minus 5 on 4, x plus 17 on 4. Another example could be when you're given the actual line and you're given 2 points on that. So here we have our graph, and we've got 2 points, 3, 11 and 6, 7. So these kind of questions, what I would do is just jot down the 2 points that you know. So I've got 3, 11 and 6, 7. Alright, just like before, the first step you want to do is work out your gradient. So label your x's, x1 and x2, label your y's, y2, y2, and then state your formula. y2 take y1, x2 take x1, and then replace your variables. So y2 I know is a 7 and y1 is 11. In fact, I've actually made a mistake there. That should be a 1. Alright, so 7 take 11, x2 is 6, x1 is 3. 7 minus 11 we get as minus 4. 6 minus 3 we get 3. So m minus 4 over 3. Now your next step, because we know we've got mx plus c, just replace the m with what you've just found, minus 4 on 3x plus c. Then we need to use one of the points, and it doesn't matter which one you use because it'll get you the same answer. Use the first one is what I'm going to use. So what I'm saying is x is going to be replaced with a 3, y is going to be replaced with 11. So I've got 11 minus 4 on 3 times 3 plus c. Now minus 4/3 times 3, this case the 3's will cancel. So I get minus 4 plus c. Doing some backtracking, if I add 4 on both sides, I get 15 is equal to c. Final step is to say, if I've got mx plus c, I know m is minus 4/3. I've got x plus 15. And that's the equation of the line given. So a few steps there. So just to recap, find your gradient first, use the gradient in the gradient intercept form, pick one of the points, solve for c, and then state your final equation.